Hi, friends. Welcome back to Seeking Out Sunshine. My name is Ashley, if you are new here, and this is the next episode of my weekly WIPS Strokes of Sunshine series. So, I hope that you have had a wonderful week. I'm excited to spend some time with you today, going over what I've worked on in the last week, to do a little coloring together. And then, of course, we're going to close out with a little inspirational rays of sunshine time with our art journal. So let's go ahead and get started. I finally finished my Rita Berman page. So I learned something, I think, this week as I reflected on this, that I have a little bit of paralysis when it comes to starting new coloring books. I will look at my coloring books on the shelf and if I haven't colored in them, I freeze. There's something about that first page that freaks me out. It's like once it's colored in, that's it. There's no turning back. But for this one, I just picked kind of a simpler page, and that has helped. And as if I looked back at other books, I tend to do that. And it's I think it's a way for me to ease in and not have so much pressure. And I'm really trying to work on removing the pressure and just allowing the creative time to be the gift. And that is hard for me. And I'm learning more about myself in that process. But I had so much fun on this more simple page because it wasn't one of my favorites in the book. And so I just tried some new things. So let's check it out. If you've seen some of my other Strokes of Sunshine videos, you know it is my lemon and orange page. And I had selected a color palette, and this is how it turned out. And guys, I just have to have this page dance for you a little bit because come on, look at how fun those rhinestones are. I just love them. They just make everything better. And how can you not be happy when you have rhinestones on your pages? I'm also going to apologize because I'm having some camera issues. Hopefully this is the last video on this camera, but if there's a little glitching here and there, I am so sorry. I hope you will stick with me and give me a little bit of grace. I have my handy IT tech guy, aka Mr. Sunshine, helping me out and fixing those problems. And I'm hopeful by the end of this week we have that rectified. But right now, hey, we're just going with what we have because sometimes that's what you have to do. But anyway, so glad that this page is done. You'll see it again on my weekly WIPs, and I'll spend some time talking about what I used and what I did. But first page in this book is now complete, and hopefully that means that this book is a little bit easier to pick up off the shelf and color in, and it has its moment of paralysis over with. So I have a page done in here, but that was in Rita Berman's Hidden Earth. And then last week we did some coloring with makeup, and I had mentioned I think it would be fun we were doing backgrounds last week, and I was like, I've never tried any elements with the makeup. And so when I got off the camera for the next couple of days, I just wanted to color with makeup. And so I got out my Nightfall book. This is a book I got at our half-price bookstore, and so I got it for $5, and it's become one of those books that I just kind of experiment in, and I'm just kind of fearless in, and I don't worry about the pages so much. But it's also becoming a book that I really enjoy coloring in, and I enjoy the illustrations. But anyway, I found a double page spread to work on. Let's see here. And I did everything in makeup. So everything is backed in makeup on both pages. And then there's just a little bit of pencil shading and a little bit of glitter gel pen on top. But these pages, guys, were completed with makeup and eyeshadow, but makeup. And it was so fun. I loved doing her hair. I think you can probably see the glitter gel pen. I did cover all of the black lines with the glitter gel pen. But this was such a fun process, and it really went a lot faster being able to do it with the makeup. I think probably similarly to if you were doing pan pastels. I'm guessing, I don't have them, but I'm guessing that process, or even soft pastels. So I just kind of mimicked this little head wreath like how she had it on her head, and just kind of thought about it as kind of a cohesive page together. But that was the first one. And then the second one is this one. And I'm not quite finished with this one yet. I've based everything with the makeup, and then I did a little pencil shading on the leaves and a little pencil shading on the fox and the hair. And now I want to go back with some, I think I'm going to use some Language gel pen on the stems, and then maybe a little bit of glitter gel pen on some of the flowers. But it's getting closer to being done. So I, again, loved this process. It was so fun. I probably will get out the makeup before the end of the month too. But if you have tried some makeup coloring, please let me know or put a picture in the comments. I would love to see what you're creating and gain inspiration from all of you and what you are creating as well. Okay, the next one I worked on was in Gnomes in the Neighborhood, and this was the page that I had last week, and I just did a little bit more. I was able to do a little bit of the shading on the flowers, and I added her shoes. I'm not sure if her hair was done last week. I can't remember. And then a little bit more details on her dress. I would like to go in and either do some polka dots on her skirt or some flowers. I might do some flowers just so it kind of stays cohesive with the flowers on the page. And then I need to add a little bit of gel pen. And this page is very close to being finished. I did it with Super Tips and my Neocolor 2s. The Neocolor background was a disaster at first. You can go back to last week's Strokes of Sunshine video and hear about that, but I am enjoying how it's turning out now. So hopefully this one will be done next time. The next page I worked on this week was from Fairy and Fantasy 5. This was a page that I had hoped to get to in April and was unable to because I just ran out of time. And I still wanted to color this page, and so I started it this week, and it is the Elfling's Shelter. And I have done all of the basing with alcohol markers. That's all that is done so far. And then I will go in, I'm ready for my second layer. So colored pencils and gel pens and Language pens will probably be the next step. And then I need to figure out what I want to do for a background. So looking forward to that and enjoying how she is turning out at this time. And then my last page that I started this week, I still wanted to play with my Crayola Super Tips. Erica over at Elm Colors has really inspired me to get better acquainted with my Super Tips. And I started my first mermaid page. So this was the page that I started, and I used my Crayolas in a different way. I put them like on a palette, just rubbed them on a palette, and then picked them up with my water brush and then applied them to the paper that way. And then I've just gone on with some colored pencil for a little bit of shading. I still have some elements left to color, and then I'll probably add some glitter gel pens, and then this one will be closer to being finished. We'll see. I never know what I'm going to end up adding. I could see me going in and doing some rhinestones on some of these bubbles, but we'll just kind of see what happens in this next week. But this has been a fun little page. I did find out, I will say, I tried putting the Crayola Super Tips directly on her hair and then using the water brush. And for me, in this book, it did not work. It was kind of a hot mess. I actually kind of tore some of the paper up here and have had to kind of navigate that. So again, I don't know if it will work in your book. I know that sometimes Lula Mayo books are printed in different places. This one is made in China, so that might have something to do with it. I don't know, but the paper for this one did not like that technique. So word to the wise so that you know. But what I want to work on today is getting better at something that I do not feel like I'm very good at. And that is my Neocolor 2s. So I only have a very small set of Neocolor 2s. This is the 15 set. I really want to get a larger set just because I think it probably is so much easier to create when you have those variations of colors. So, like when you have numerous blues or numerous greens, for example, to kind of work with, to do those blends and to get those depths that you want in your paper. It's a little bit harder when you just have one and possibly two colors, two different shades of a color, but still plenty of colors to work with and practice. I also know that I could mix these colors together to get new colors if I wanted to. That doesn't sound as appealing to me as just having the crayon that's the color I want it to be. The whole mixing thing. But anyway, maybe I'll try that. But I thought we would do another page in Gnomes in the Neighborhood and start. Where's it at here? This one. And I've picked out this little color palette. I think this is so fun. I'm not sure you can see it on camera, but I traced like a little plate on the background here, and I'm going to use this as a bright sun, like behind the little gnome dancer. And we'll do that like in the yellows and the oranges. And then we'll do the rest of the background in the pinks here. So we'll just kind of play and see how it goes. Because again, I am really learning how to use Neo color tubes still. I see so many incredible finished pages when they've used the Neo color tubes, and I'm just like blown away. So I definitely want to get better at them. Okay, so I think I'm going to start with the yellow. So I think I'm going to go yellow down, but maybe I need to start. I was thinking that I would use maybe these colors. So maybe I need to start with a little bit of, I'm a little nervous to use the red. Maybe we'll go back on top with red. So this is vermilion and then orange and then yellow. So I'm going to start with a little bit of this vermilion color. And this for me is where I am like learning how much of the Neo color I need to put down, and also like how hard I apply it, because sometimes I feel like if I apply it too hard, that makes sense. Like if I press too hard on the paper, it just doesn't even budge. It doesn't move. And so I think that's what happened the last time I tried to use the Neo colors on this paper. So I'm going to just see if this paper will respond a little bit differently if I go a little bit lighter handed. But we shall see. Don't know. It could be a big mess. But that's why we experiment, right? And we find out. Okay. Well, I hope everybody has had a good week. I had more time to color this week. We spent a lot of time at my parents' house. My aunt was in town, and my aunts were in town. It was so good to see them. They came to see my mom, and she's doing better. She is working so hard all the time, and I'm just in awe of the human being that she is, and I'm so thankful for her resilience and the way she tries. Each and every day, it's just horrible to see her struggle in this disease. If you're new here and you haven't seen some of my other videos, my sweet mom has Alzheimer's, and she fell a few weeks ago, and it has been quite a journey to go through that. And every day, she kind of has to be reminded of why she has a neck brace on and why we are doing different exercises and things that we now do in our daily routine with her. And it's just a challenge. It's just, quite frankly, it's awful to see your loved one go through this disease. There's just no way to sugarcoat it. It's horrible. And but I'm in awe of her bravery. And even though she isn't able to do a lot of things that she used to be able to do, or even, know my name, I see her fighting all the time in this life, and that's amazing. I can't even begin to try to understand how it feels in her head, and to know like how scary it is to feel like you don't know the world around you. It just seems terrifying to me. But yeah, so we had a lot of time where we didn't really go do anything when they were here this time. Usually we take them to go do lots of different adventures when they're here, and we didn't. We just spent a lot of time at home visiting and trying to laugh and everything as mom recovers. And so I always had a coloring book with me and would be working on something. So that gave me a lot of extra time, which was, which was fun to have that time to color. But we also had a busy week with my kids. My son had a soccer game last week, and he was awesome. He scored and assisted, and I just love watching my kids do their things, right? Just they both do things that I never did growing up, and so it's just so fun to see their little personalities decide what kind of, lights their fire inside of them and what they want to go for. And it's so fun watching them try to achieve their goals and stuff. But as there's been a lot happening in my life, and I think that I feel like I'm a little bit of a dumpster fire right now. And I went to my son's soccer game, and my sister was there, and she's like, "Hey, you okay? Everything all right?" And I was like, "Yeah, why?" And she like pointed up to my face, and I had my sunglasses on my face, but one of the lenses was completely popped out of those sunglasses. And you guys, I had no idea. I was just chilling with one lens out of those sunglasses, and everybody got a really good laugh at it. And I have since laughed at it. She took a picture, and I have showed so many people because I'm like, hey, if you think you're having a hot mess of a week, just remember this picture. You could always have a lens popped out of your glasses and have no idea. Some of my mom's soccer friends were like, oh, we just thought you were like, had something to your eyes and you were strengthening one of them or something. Nope. It's just Ashley being a hot mess, guys. That's what life is right now. Sometimes we are just surviving through the hot mess. And Ashley is definitely surviving through the hot mess of life right now. But it's all good. So yeah, so we had soccer. And then my youngest has been preparing for some auditions for some summer shows. So we had one this week, and we spent 4.5 hours at those auditions and callbacks. And then he's been preparing for another one that's happening this weekend. So there's been lots of singing in my house and getting ready for those. And I love that and the joy that it brings to him. And then my oldest son, who plays soccer, also sings. And he had his high school choir concert last night. And it was great to see him up on stage singing and enjoying that. That as well. So yeah, there is usually somebody singing in our house. I've got lots of people who enjoy music, and it doesn't really matter what time of day it is. We are usually singing. So my boys love to sing in the shower. Uh, if they're not in the shower, they're singing. If they're outside, they're singing. I'm sure our neighbors get a kick watching them. They'll be outside playing basketball or jumping on the trampoline, and they're just singing their little hearts out. But I love it. I think music brings so much joy to our spirit. And so I know when they're singing that they have joy in their hearts. So that's good. But yeah, other than that, for them this week, it's just, again, finishing up some school stuff. So my youngest, we actually homeschool. And so he goes to a private school a couple days a week. And that this week was actually the last week for that. So we got to finish up that with him, and we will continue some of our stuff throughout the rest of the month. And then my oldest has a couple of weeks left for his high school. So busy, busy there. Okay, guys, this is where I get like the mixing of the colors. I know I should not just be doing these straight lines because then that's going to look wonky. So I think I'm going to go all the way around her with this. This is orange because it would be, I think there would be like a little bit of a shadow effect, right? I mean, I know that the sun is brilliantly bright, but who knows? Let's try this. Let's see what happens. Okay. Yeah, we'll try this. So other than that, let's see, I finished a book. I was reading Carly Fortune's Every Summer After, and I finished that, and it was so good that I'm going to start her next one. And my sister had already read them and suggested that I just go ahead and skip to the fourth book because that picks up one of the other, it's like a side story of one of the characters from this book. So it doesn't follow the same couple per se, but it is a side story of one of the characters that's in the first book. And then I think it's called One Golden Summer. So I just got that one and I need to start that one. But I'm looking forward to that because it did not take me any time at all to read Every Summer After. It went really, really fast. I got into it. So I've been reading that. And then my husband and I, we had started Shrinking like a year ago and only got through the first season. And my sister was talking about it the other day. And so I was like, I think that we should pick that back up and watch that again. So we started season 2. We've gone through an entire episode, guys. When I tell you that it is hard for us to find time to watch TV, it is hard for us to find time to watch TV. We are currently like 2 ships passing in the night. I feel like we aren't seeing each other much. But started that first episode, and I can already tell that the season is going to just rock me in my heartstrings. But I'm looking forward to it too. I think it's one of those shows that has great humor in it, but man, it can make you cry and feel a lot of life. So yeah, that, and then we started watching, so as a family, we started like 4 years ago watching The Way Home, and they just came out with the 4th season of that. So we watched the first episode. It's the show, I think it started on the Hallmark Channel, but now is it on Disney or Hulu? I don't know. I would have to look. But it's like the pond that once you jump in it, it like sends you back in time or sends you into the future. And so the boys really got into that show, and we watched that the last several years as a family. And so the last season just started, and we've gotten to see the first episode. I think we have one more ready to watch. And I'm looking forward to watching that hopefully this weekend. But that's kind of what we've been watching. Or my oldest started Ted Lasso again, so every once in a while I'll sit down and watch a little bit of a episode of that with him. And then my youngest has been doing a rewatch of The Office, which is one of his favorite shows, which I just love. But okay, we're going to activate this pretty soon, and we're going to see what happens. And I hope it turns out amazing. I hope it just blows our socks off here. And maybe I used too much. I don't know. But I think that's going to be really fun to see like this bright sun coming out behind her. And I know I can go on with other layers, so we can always go back over it when it dries. But I might just kind of do a little bit of this orangey outline first. Yeah, I think I like that. And then we will activate. I don't think I'll go all the way up. And I'm trying to think of how I want to do. I think I want there to be a lot of pink in the sky behind, but I think I love how this sky has different variations of the colors from the color palette on there. I think that will be fun to just kind of have the oranges and the yellows kind of peeking through as well. So I'll have to play with that. Hopefully I'll have something to show you next week with that. Okay. Here we go. Let me get a paper towel. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm gonna just get my brush wet here. And I'm gonna start at the top and hold my breath. Oh, it's just, this paper is so interesting. It almost feels like it's trying to go through the bottom. Like, it's funny because it's thick paper, but I feel like maybe since it's almost like cardstock, it's not really meant for water mediums. But we'll see. We'll see how this goes. We are not giving up. I definitely think it's working better than the first page I did in this book, where I just kind of scribbled the crayon down on the paper. But I can definitely see where this is not a book that's probably meant for a ton of water medium. Like right there, I feel like that orange, I've seen people do like this kind of thing where this orange would mix in more to this yellow, and it's not really doing that. So it's okay. We're going to make it work, guys. If you have any tips or tricks with Neocolors twos, these are the Neocolor twos, let me know if I'm putting them down wrong or if it is just the paper. I mean, obviously they're working, it's activating. I just think it probably would work better on some different paper. You can almost see how it's coming through. Like you can almost see the cardboard through. It's like really thinning out the paper, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I will really probably be hesitant to put a whole bunch of layers on here, but I definitely am going to make sure that I let it dry completely before I saturate it with any more water. Okay, this is going to start getting interesting where this orange is a little bit thicker. Let's see what it's kind of blending into the yellow, I guess. It's not horrible. When I did these on the first page, I just kind of scribbled them down like I had seen Erica at Elm Colors do on some of her backgrounds. And she was able to really move them around on the page. So when I did it on the previous page, they didn't budge. They like activated, but it was literally just in place. Like it did not move at all. The pigment just was like put. It stayed put. It wasn't playing. It wasn't moving around. And you can kind of see when I go around the edge, it's not moving very much. So it's pretty much where I've placed it is where it's getting activated and where it's staying. This line I would think would blend out a little bit more. Yeah, these aren't, this down here is just kind of staying put. But I think that will be part of this learning curve with these Neocolor 2s is how they perform on different paper. And I'm sure I'll find paper that I really enjoy using them on, and then other paper that I kind of shy away from using them on, which is a bummer because I think they're so fun. Or I'll just get better at understanding how to use them on different types of paper. Can also do that. But again, I don't think it's like turning out awful. It's just not super workable. So I'm just going to have to be mindful of like where I put the color is where it's going to be. There's not going to be a lot of like movement like with a like how a watercolor would respond or something. But I definitely see the benefit of having the different colors, because I could have a couple different shades of the orange going into the yellow and probably a couple different shades of the yellow, which would be nice. But hey, you work with what you got, right? I think this is going to turn out cute though. I'm excited. I think I'm going to maybe try the Neocolors on the branch. Yeah, look that, guys. You can see I got a lot of water there and it went, I got to be careful right there. That made the paper really thinned it out. On the branch maybe, but then I've thought about alcohol markers. This is a single-sided book. So I thought about maybe alcohol markers for the flowers as a base. And then going over with some pencil, but we'll just have to see. Okay, yeah, that side really got thin there. Okay, I think it turned out pretty awesome though. Like I'm not upset at all. I just think, again, thankfully I put the color down exactly where I wanted that color to be. And so I think you can kind of tell. I'm going to be interested to see how this dries right here. Let's look on the back. Yeah, you can see how it is definitely going through, where if there was a section where a little bit more water came out of the brush, and not all people has that effect that I've seen. So, and some of that will probably just be me needing to get used to the water brush and the Neocolors too. But yeah, when this dries, then I'm going to go in and I'm going to do kind of some pinks in the background and pull some of these other colors to stay in this color palette. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Eee! I'm excited. Okay. So again, if you have any Neocolor 2 tips or tricks or insight for me, don't hesitate to leave those in the comments. I'm always looking to learn. But I'm going to put this aside and we're going to do our Rays of Sunshine. All right, so last week we pulled a card and I completed a page in, we're just going to call it my art journal, my creative journal, let's just call it my Rays of Sunshine journal. But it was my power lies and my peaceful presence. And so I've used some of these rays to put things that I've done that help me find peace this week. So I won't always show you guys these, but this one doesn't bother me too much to show you, like going for walks, or I just needed to have some good cries this week, and that was a release. Just a second. My dog is in here and she hears her dad and she wants out. So hold on just a second. Okay, sorry about that. But I tried to focus on some box breathing more and just peacefulness of family time, but different things. And you can see, obviously, I still have some rays that I didn't fill in, and I can go back and continue to do. But it was just a way for me to like have some accountability for how am I trying to be more peaceful in my everyday. Again, this isn't a page that is supposed to be like this work of art. It is just supposed to be like a place for me to be creative and get an outlet to do that, and kind of reconnect with my mindfulness. So I have another set of cards by Gabrielle Bernstein. We're going to pull a card from here today, and then we'll just see what comes. This is kind of just spontaneous, on the spot. What do I feel? What do you feel? And obviously, if I'm doing something and you feel like you want to do something completely different, by all means, do what your spirit is guiding you to do, for sure. And if your spirit doesn't want to do anything, don't do anything. But if it is, then do something about it. This card was kind of sticking out, so I pulled it. And it says, instead of worrying about the future, I know all is well when I'm aligned in the moment. Wow, and I think this goes back to being a peaceful presence, right? And being present in the now. What is that saying? Worrying about the past is anxiety, and worrying about the future is fear, I think. And just to be present, something along those lines. I'm not saying it very well, and I apologize. But it is about sitting in this moment, right here, right now, and understanding that we really truly have no control over what happens a minute from now, or a day from now, or a week from now, or beyond. And that, for me right now, is hard. Seeing a loved one go through a disease, seeing family members struggle, seeing people in my life have hardships. I'm kind of a fixer. I'm a helper. I want things to be better, and I have to just allow some of it to be and unfold, and know all is well. Ironically, all is well is a saying we say to my mom a lot when she gets a little anxious or uncertain about what is happening. We will remind her and say, Mama, all is well. And so I think that this is just the universe shouting out to us with all of its love, that whatever we're worried about right now, whatever's on our hearts, whatever gives us a little bit of angst, it's telling us that all is well. And so I think we should create something that kind of mimics this card today, just to kind of bring us joy, and to find a short amount of time just truly in the presence of the now, and to just be. So let's see. Instead of worrying about the future, I know all is well when I'm aligned in the moment. All is well. I hope you know that all is well in your heart, that you can let go of the things that you cannot control, and that you can allow yourself just to be. Kind of like this with the stars. I think that's a good reminder. I was going to use my temper paint sticks again. I don't have exactly these colors, so I think I'll go for some purples. I don't really have the plums, but let's just do some variations of purple and see how that goes. I feel like last week was the same thing. It was just lots of lines. But again, I think that is what is fun about kind of doing a creative mindful journal, where you can just kind of be free for a few minutes and play, get back to being like, what would you have done in kindergarten if your teacher would have set down these temper paint sticks on your desk? I mean, we just would have picked them out without thought. We just would have some people probably would have been eating them, let's be honest, with their glue. But we just would have played. There would have been no pressure. There wouldn't have been the worry that so many of us have right now with what is happening in our life, what is happening in the world. All of that bogs us down. And the universe is telling you, instead of worrying about the future, I know all is well. This week, I'm going to try this too, guys. Just know whenever I say, I hope you, I'm talking to myself too. I hope this week it's probably a better way of saying it, when we have those little doubts and those little fears creep in, I hope we will take the line, all is well. And maybe we can pass that line on to somebody else. I wonder if we can give that gift to someone else this week of all is well. Well, that went better in my head. I thought we were going to trace the star and it was just going to, well, it's kind of coming out. It's okay. All is well. It's great when life shows you something and then immediately gives you a moment to use that knowledge, right? But all is well. Okay, I'm going to get a Sharpie and my outliner pen. Let's see. Let's try this one. Maybe I do the star in this. This is kind of a fun pen. I like this pen. I have not tried Sharpie on this. So I'm not going to write the whole card. If you want to write the whole card on yours, go for it. I'm just going to do all is well on my page today. I think that is, for me, the message that I needed to hear is the all is well. And I'm going to try to take this into my week. I think I did better last week of trying to find spaces to be peaceful, but maybe it's taking it up a notch to believing those peaceful moments, believing those opportunities that come in that try to challenge me are really not mine to carry or even have a response to. Sometimes we just kind of have to let it flow through us, and not against us, right? Sometimes we just have to let it be and remind ourselves that in this now moment, all is well. I am okay in this now moment. I am breathing. I am living. I'm here. Something my sister taught me. If you find yourself having some moments of anxiety, is the five senses activity where you ask yourself, what are 5 things you can see, 4 things you can hear, 3 things you can touch, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you could taste right now in this moment. So you look around your surroundings and you do that, and it just calms your nervous system. Because when we are in fight or flight, it's really easy for our nervous system to get bogged down and not know how to function. And so that just kind of brings you back to the present moment of being. And man, do I need to do that a lot more. I need to remind myself of that trick, and just bring myself back to the reality of now and what is going on. But I'm gonna go ahead and stop there today, and I might go back in and do some more on this and continue to ponder this card and think about what this card truly means for me. And I hope you will do the same for you. And I hope that this video today found you surrounded in sunshine. And I hope that only continues for the week ahead. I hope that you will remember in your moments of chaos and uneasiness that all is well. And I thank you for the sunshine that you are in my life. Every time that you spend time with me, time in your presence is so valued. And I'm so grateful that you are here. I appreciate every like, every comment, and just the positive light and energy that you send to me in those capacities. I'm so grateful. And I hope that you feel all of my love and sunshine coming back to you. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye for now.